friends, my name is Shelly. I live in beautiful Portland, Oregon, and I run an Etsy shop. I sell hand-dyed yarns for a shop called the Magda Yarn Company. Um, I'm a little bit obsessed with watching other people's knitting podcasts, vlogcasts, whatever you want to call them, on YouTube, so I thought I would make my own. So here we are. I'll upload every other Sunday, and I'll talk about things that I'm working on, things that I finished, and the things that are going up in my shop. If you're interested in getting up-to-the-minute news on what's going on in my shop as far as new products or sales that I run periodically, you can follow me on Instagram at Magda Yarn Company, or you can favorite my shop on Etsy. I'll put links to everything down in the description box. So I'm a self-taught knitter. Everything that I know about knitting I learned from YouTube, and even still I often have to consult YouTube to figure out some technique or some stitch that I don't know. But even though I'm a pretty new knitter, I'm not new to crafting. I've been sewing and doing all kinds of craft project adventures since I was very young. My mom taught me, her mom taught her mom taught her. In fact, my shop is named after my great-grandmother Magda, who immigrated from Sweden to the United States on her skills as a seamstress. And so I wanted to reflect those intergenerational ties in the name of my shop. So that's why my shop's named that. So I've been knitting for a few years, and it's become a bit of an obsession. And a secondary obsession to that has been collecting yarn. I used to buy yarn from big box craft stores because it's cheap. You can get a lot of it. It's inexpensive. And there's usually coupons that you can use. But then I discovered local yarn stores and luxury yarns and hand-dyed yarns. And yeah, I switched pretty quickly from big box yarn stores to local yarn stores. So I decided to become an indie dyer because I'm always interested in trying out new creative hobbies, and also to support my yarn habit. So buy my yarn so I can buy yarn. So first I wanted to talk about some finished projects that I've completed recently. The first one is this really simple cowl that I recently finished. The pattern is based on, it doesn't have a name. It's just this big triangular scarf pattern from a company called Church Mouse Yarns and Tees. And I switched it up a little bit because I got bored of it, because it's just a garter stitch over and over again. So I decided to stop after one skeiny yarn and cast off and turn it into a cowl instead of like a big triangular scarf. And so what I ended up doing was making these buttonholes, which I just made using a really simple method. I just cast off 4 stitches, and then when I came back around, I used the backwards loop method to cast on 4 stitches. I'm sure there are cleaner ways of making buttonholes, but that's just the one I wanted to do. And so it buttons over on the sides with these little buttons. I think it's a cute little detail. Yeah, little cowl. The yarn that I used is from a brand called Lofty, Lofti. This is the colorway Mittens. It's a DK weight yarn. And instead of being plied, it uses what's called like a chainette. So it's almost like, you know, when you're starting a crochet project and you make that crochet chain, it's almost like that's how the yarn is. I guess it's not spun, it's chained, I guess. But it is merino wool, a little bit of cotton, a little bit of alpaca. I don't know if I mentioned the colorway. The colorway is Mittens. I actually got this yarn in a Knit Crate subscription box a while back. I started this project a while ago and just didn't pick it up for a long time because I was really bored of it. Because again, it's just a garter stitch over and over again. But you know what? I decided, you know, if I'm not excited by this, then I'm just gonna turn it into something else and end the project early. And I think that's fine. I think that's totally okay when you get bored of something and you just want to move on to something else. And I think it's cute. I like it. I don't think I lost anything by taking it and turning it into just a little cowl. I like it. I think it's cute. Another project that I've finished recently is the Cozy Winter scarf, shawl. This pattern's on Ravelry, and it has this really gorgeous cabling detail, and a little bit of lace detail. Yeah, I love this one. This has been in my queue for a long time, and I've been wanting to make it. The yarn that I used, so I bought the yarn and I got it wound before I knew that you were supposed to keep the bands. So I don't know what the yarn is called. I don't know who made it. I know that it's Aran weight. It feels like a cotton wool blend. But other than that, I don't remember anything about it, unfortunately. But it's this really lovely, just kind of very neutral beige, but it has these really subtle purple and green speckles in it that I love. And so the weather's finally starting to turn. So I'm excited to get some use out of this because it's really soft, really cozy. And then I want to talk about a couple of projects that I'm working on. The first one is the honey cowl. This is a Madeline Tosh pattern. You can get it on Ravelry, but it's been in my queue for a while. I've just haven't really picked up the right, it requires a DK weight yarn. I just haven't picked up the right yarn for it. But I was in my last trip to Texas, to Fort Worth, Texas, to visit my parents. And if you know Madeline Tosh, you know that they're based in Fort Worth. And I went to a local yarn shop there, West 7th Wool, and they have a ton of Madeline Tosh. And they actually have this colorway called Kraken that you can only get at West 7th Wool. And so I picked it up in DK and I thought this is perfect for the honey cowl. It's a perfect colorway. It's gorgeous. It's this teal with little bits of brown and royal blue. Really gorgeous. And then this pattern is super easy. There's a short version and a long version. I'm doing the short version. But it's just, you knit one round and then you purl, the next round purl, slip with the yarn in front, purl, slip with the yarn in front, purl, slip with the yarn in front. And you just alternate that row by row. And it makes this really cool pattern, this really cool texture. So that's one thing that I'm working on. I expect it to go pretty quick. Another thing that I'm working on is the 2020 Rose City Yarn Crawl Mystery Knit Along shawl. This mystery knit along is over, so it's neither a knit along nor a mystery to me. I know what the finished product is going to look like. But it's this really gorgeous shawl that has this really nice mosaic color work technique. A little bit of seed stitch up there. And then as it keeps going up, it actually, so the pattern's called plot twist. And the idea is you think it's going to keep being this motif. You think you're just going to keep knitting this motif, but then later on there's lace work. So I'm really excited about this one, getting this one finished. The yarn that I'm using is a fingering weight merino nylon blend. I got it from another Oregon indie dyer called Rebel Woolworks. I'll link her down in the description. But this purple color is called Blackberry. And then this orangey brick red is called Cinnamon. She makes really fantastic yarns. The pattern called for tonal yarns because you want a lot of when you have two very different colors, you want a lot of contrast between the two colors. And I think tonal yarns are fine. I just think they're a little bit boring. But this is pretty tonal, but it has like just enough variegation in it to keep it interesting. But you can still see like the contrast between the detail. So this one's really exciting. I'm gonna try to get this one finished pretty quick because the next thing that I'm gonna be working on is Stephen West's Slip Stravaganza Mystery Knit Along for 2020. That one starts on October 9th. I still have not picked up my yarns for it. I'll post the link in the description below, or Ravelry link to the knit along if you're interested in participating. But you need 2 skeins of a main color, and then 3 different contrasting colors. So I decided to dig into my yarn stash to see if I had anything that I wanted to use. And I found this really gorgeous teal, greeny, forest green, solid color. I love how I just said I don't like tonal. I like variegated, but this is tonal. But I love this. It's so soft. It's from, I got it in my Knit Crate yarn subscription box, which I'm thinking about canceling. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes if I don't like the yarn, I can actually sell it for more than I paid for the box. Should I admit that? I don't know. But the company that made it is called it's French. I took 4 years of French in high school. I should be able to pronounce this. La Brebis. It means the sheep, but this is not made out of sheep. It's 100% baby alpaca, and it is so soft, and it has a little bit of a halo. I think you can see that, a little bit of a halo. Yeah. The colorway is in Ancient Pines, and again, you can buy this on the Knit Crate website. It's probably like $24 to $26 a skein. So I'm going to use this for the main color. And then I did some digging to see if I had any good contrasting colors. And I found this that I had bought a couple months ago. It's from Threads by Nicole, also on Etsy. I'll link it below. And it is like a really subtle speckle of this beautiful teal that I think matches really well with that. So this is going to be one of my contrasting colors. Yeah, really gorgeous. The colorway is Seafoam. It's a 75-25 superwash merino wool nylon blend. Has just like a little tiny bit of yellow, but I love this. I bought it without having any projects in mind, but this is perfect for it. So I'm gonna go to my local yarn shop this week. I am gonna go to House of a la Mode in Gresham, Oregon. They have a lot of house yarn that they dye themselves, and I'm gonna see if I can find 2 other contrasting colors to go with these. I'm thinking of, because Stephen West is he's very modern in his knitting style and his patterns. I'm thinking of doing like complementary colors, and so other side of the color wheel would probably be like a corally orangey pink. I'm also thinking maybe like a little bit of like hot pink, like a neon pink. I don't know. Tell me what you think below. If you have any good yarns, comment them. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing Stephen West's knit along. I'm really excited about that. I'll post on my Instagram once I have my yarns decided of what I'm going to do. So follow my Instagram and you can see my final colorway decisions there. And then finally, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the products that I have in my shop. I just added about 6 new yarns this last week. I'm going to talk about just 3 of them. One of them is this one. It's called Squash. It's this really pretty gold yellow with this kind of burgundy speckling. This one is a DK weight, but I can do any of my yarns in any weights. So if you love this, I actually sold out of this pretty soon after posting it. If you like this, you can send me a message on Etsy if you want a different weight or you need a whole bunch of skeins. If you need like a sweater amount or something, I'm more than happy to do that for you. Almost all of my colorways are reproducible. Yeah, really pretty, super pretty. And then another one I put up this week is this one that I call Robin's Egg. I wanted to experiment with making like a grayish color as like a base for different things. And so I just mixed some tan with some silvery gray. And I thought, you know, maybe this is just going to be kind of muddy and gross, but it ended up coming out really pretty. And I variegated it with this kind of minty sky blue. Yeah, robin's egg. Yeah, really pretty. Still has a little bit of the white yarn peeking through, but has that really lovely variegation. This one's a sport weight. I have 2 of these up in the shop. But again, if you need more than that, or if you want it in a different weight, I'm more than happy to oblige. And then finally, this one I'm really excited about. It's very different than what the colorways that I usually dye. But I wanted to experiment with like neon colors. And so I called this one Radical. It's this gray. About half of it is this charcoal gray. And then it's dipped with this super bright blue and this neon green. And I love how they bleed together. I love that. Yeah, this one's really great. This one's in DK. I have 2 skeins of this. I actually think this would be really cool in like a stockinette stitch sweater. If you want to make a stockinette stitch sweater with DK yarn and you like this, I can make more of this. Let me know. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about. Again, I'll upload not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that. So every other Sunday I'll upload. Again, check out my shop, the Magda Yarn Company on Etsy. Follow me on Instagram at Magda Yarn Company. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, etc. And I'll see you guys later.